so welcome back. We're gonna do the mushroom risotto today. So, in order to start the mushroom risotto, we're gonna get one regular saute pan. We'll bring it over here. We're gonna put in an 8-ounce spoonful of mushrooms. These mushrooms are pre-cooked. You would need to saute the mushrooms in the unlikely event that we didn't have them pre-cooked. They are usually pre-cooked. You can lay that over here on the stove. You go ahead and get some heat under it. You can do high heat, because we're gonna immediately add stock to this. We're gonna do 16 ounces of stock, so 2 8-ounce ladles. As that starts to heat up, we're going to reach down here and we're going to grab one portioned bag of par-cooked risotto rice. Put it out here. And then that is going to go right in to our stock. About right there. Next thing we need to add is a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. We're going to do this to taste every time. So anytime you make a risotto, it's important that you taste it and make sure that you've got the salt content just right. We will check that later. We're just going to pinch a little salt in right now to get ourselves started. So now that we've got all the ingredients present, I'm going to take my tongs. You can use a spoon or whatever, but tongs is easiest. We're going to break up that rice and get it stirred in so that we have rice, stock, salt, pepper, and mushrooms all beginning to come to a simmer. So, we're going to go ahead and cut to as it starts to simmering, and we'll come back and check on it here in a few minutes. Now, as you can see, we've had it going about 3 or 4 minutes, and we're starting to get a simmer around the edges. And although we want it to come up to a rolling boil like it's doing right now, as it approaches that rolling boil, we're actually going to turn the heat down to medium-low. So we don't want the heat to be too high because we'll end up with too much reduction and not enough saturation in the rice. It's important that we get as much of this liquid to saturate into the rice instead of being evaporated out. So you can see I've got a full rolling boil now. So I'm just going to kick my heat down. You can't go all the way to low, but you can go medium low. And then you can see my bubbles have gotten much smaller. And this is of course what we call a simmer versus a boil. So we want to have a simmer. If you don't see bubbles, you need to turn the heat up. But you must have bubbles, but the bubbles need to be slight and they need to be slow. So this is now going to take about 15 minutes, and what we want to do is stir it as much and as often as we possibly can. So we can take it and we can give it a swirl, we can use a pair of tongs, anything we can do for the next 15 minutes while the camera is off to help get this to be creamy. And you'll see the end result here in a few minutes, but this is going to take some time, so we're going to go ahead and shut it down. We'll cut to the end of the process, and we'll look at the last few minutes of what we're supposed to do. All right, here we are. We've got that risotto that we talked about. It's been on the stove now for about, I would say probably 8 to 9 minutes. Got it on a nice low heat, and you can see the simmering is still taking place. No big boiling. We're not stuck on the bottom. If you go too fast, you're going to end up with sticking and looking too dry, and it can cause the rice to kind of explode, and we don't want that. So we're just going to keep stirring it. You can see it's almost like a porridge. It's almost like an oatmeal or a porridge look to it, and that's what we want. Now, if this dish were not ready to sell yet, so this dish had not been fired, we would want to stop the cooking process right here. When you see how much extra liquid there is, we would take this, we would move it away from the heat, we'd stick it on the back burner away, and we would wait for that dish to fire. And then when the dish fired, we would rewarm it, possibly even with another teaspoon or so of chicken stock, just to rewarm things and make sure everything is good to go. But since we are going to go ahead and plate this dish, we're going to leave it on the stove and let it finish out the rest of the way. We want this liquid to disappear, but we don't want the rice to seem dry or firm. There should be a certain amount of looseness to this dish. So we're almost where we want to be. So the next thing I need to do here is taste it. Remember, every time we make a risotto, it's important that we taste it. We're going to grab a tasting spoon. I'll be right back. Now I've got my tasting spoon. I'm going to come in here, grab a little bit of rice, blow on it, pop it in, make sure salt and pepper is good. That's really nice. The last thing you want to do is forget salt and pepper in this recipe. It will be bland and it will get sent back. Okay. So we know it's seasoned well. And now if you look, a lot of that liquid is gone. It's still kind of got a looseness to it. It's not it will continue to soak up and become way too firm if we're not careful. In fact, if we let it sit, we might have to loosen it a little bit with a little bit more stock just to get it back down to this consistency before we sell it. We do not want a big pile of rice. We want to have like something that kind of flows onto the plate a little bit. I'll show you what I mean right now because it is time to plate up. So, we will grab a hot pasta plate, and right over there. Turn our heat off. Bring this over here, and then we're going to put that in there. And you can see there's a certain kind of saucy quality to it. Certain amount of looseness there. You can even see, I'll show you in a moment. So over here, you look over here on this side, you can even see a little bit of liquid that is kind of part of that chicken stock that's left over. That's what you're aiming for. You want to have a nice little bit of liquid to it. It should be creamy. It should not be dry. And then it's going to come over here. Quick finish in the middle is going to be our truffle oil. Just a couple of drops like that. And then a little bit of our grated Parmesan cheese right over it, like so. That is the finished mushroom risotto.